So when people are working from home, obviously, and there's lockdown happening in that particular country or town or city or wherever it is, if when that lockdown happens, it exacerbates anxieties or emotional stresses within the house that could trigger violence, which may never have existed before, or it could trigger more frequent episodes of domestic violence as well. So if somebody's in lockdown, what is a very real, tangible solution to the person being the victim of it? Because presumably the perpetrator, I mean, we've talked about how the perpetrator can reach out, but the victim of what is something very real that they can do right now?
So I think that everyone's different, and there's different risks of harm and levels of harm and so forth, and there'll be different, everyone knows what their own strengths are, what keeps them safe in their own home. And so what I would say is don't deviate from that. Don't change the patterns of what you're doing. Keep them the same, and you'll know when and how is a good time to reach out for help. So it might be that if you know your phone is being monitored, for example, it could be that your workplace has some way of enabling you to speak up, or it might be that you have a conversation with a neighbour, for example. So it's a really difficult one to answer, Tim, because there's so many different things. But you'll know when's the right time to reach out and how to reach out, and there's simple things like you'll know what rooms, for example, are the safest rooms for you in the house, and it depends on what's on top for you as well. So just even things like understanding how to get out of your house if you need to in a hurry, so that if you can feel that there's tension building in the home, for example, is that you're strategically placing yourself in a room where there's near the door where you can exit in a hurry, so you're not having to walk past that person to get outside. So it's those simple things like that. It's understanding that if you needed to jump out a window, for example, that you're not in an apartment, so it's not an option. Do you know what I mean? So every physicality is different for every person, and so it's I say trust your instincts. You'll know what's right for you, and reach out for help when you can, whatever that mode might be. Yeah.
Oh, so basically, in summary, it's just having an escape plan, or having a series of I know where I can lock myself up and be safe for a while. I know where I can take the children quickly. I know when the triggers are beginning to appear, or the signs are beginning to appear, that I can exit. And if I get picked up by authorities for breaching lockdown rules, I can say, there's a domestic violence issue happening and I needed to get the kids out of the house. Can you escort me to here?
That's exactly right, and that comes back to that safety planning again. And so safety planning is vital. It's key, because what we know is that when we're in a situation, we go into that fight, flight, or freeze mode, and so everything else around us shuts down. And so we don't want to be having to make new decisions in that moment. So we need to pre-plan. We need to understand what that looks like. And so even understanding, for example, if we've got a cell phone and we need to ring emergency services, how we do that when our phone is locked, for example, because of the dexterity and our fingers go and things like that. So it's getting familiar with our technology, even understanding how to use that, or how children can use our phones as well, for example, if we have children in the home. So it's understanding how do we get out the door? So just step by step. So do I need a key to unlock the inside door? Where is the key kept? Are we keeping keys in a regular place? if we're using a vehicle, for example, it's around things like, do I have to back my car out of anywhere? Do I need to go through an exit barrier? Do I need to pay to get out of a car park? Am I going to get, delayed with that? Another one is around pets. So our animals are really important, and so how do we? Most people won't leave without their pets. So how do we get ourselves, if we're going to leave, out with the pet as well? So it's around, okay, so where is the leash for our dog kept? Do I need to move that to a new regular position? So it comes down to really simple things that can create a huge difference for someone in the state of an emergency, because we don't think and we panic and we lose things. I've had clients quite seriously lose supermarkets. They can't find supermarkets when they're driving around because they're so stressed and they're so panicked that everything goes. And so the importance of this planning is absolutely crucial.
It's amazing.